6 p.m. here in Cairo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Channel 2 News Bulletin. I'm Abir Mitwali. I'll be starting off with the headlines, followed by the news in detail. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stresses that Libya's security is part of Egyptian national security. Marking June Revolution anniversary, President al-Sisi asserts that peace cannot be enforced by violence. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participates in the 4th UN Conference on Financing for Development. Welcome back to the news in detail. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received on Monday the commander of the Libyan National Army, Khalifa Haftar, in Alamein city. The president stressed that the stability of Libya is an indivisible part of the Egyptian national security. He said that Egypt is exerting all efforts to preserve the unity of the Libyan institutions. The head of state also said that Egypt is in contact with all Libyan factions to achieve stability, adding it is important to coordinate among Libyan factions to hold parliamentary and presidential elections. President al-Sisi said it is important to stand against foreign investment in Libya and the expel mercenaries and foreign forces from the country. He said he hails the role of Tobruk-based national army in fighting terrorism. For his part, Haftar said that he hails the pivotal role played by Egypt to restore stability and security in Libya, praising Egypt for extending its developmental experience to Libya. And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday received General Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of Defense and Military Production, General Abdelmajid Saqr. Presidential spokesperson, Ambassador Mohammed al-Shinnawi, said the meeting took place at the Presidential Palace in the Alamein city. President al-Sisi on Monday asserted that the June 30th revolution represented a national epic inked by Egyptians to restore the state of the right path, making an address to the nation as Egypt marked the 12th anniversary of the June 30th revolution. The president said that the nation was unified behind the goal of restoring Egypt and its identity, destiny, and history. President al-Sisi emphasized that Egypt's strength lies not only in its arms but in citizens' awareness, adding that peace is difficult to maintain but not impossible. The head of state added that the peace cannot be forced bombardment or by normalization process that is rejected by the peoples. Also celebrating June 30th revolution anniversary, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi greeted the Egyptian people, hailing their efforts in preserving the nation and its identity, accepting challenges for its sake. In a tweet on social media account, the president asserted that Egypt will continue along the path of reconstruction with firm resolution in order to shape the future and build the modern state that Egypt deserves. The head of state added that the achievements made were possible by the grace of Allah and then by virtue of Egyptians' persistence, steadfastness, and firm faith. In a speech marking the June 30th revolution anniversary, House of Representatives Speaker Councillor Hanafi Gebali congratulated the Egyptian people and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The speaker said that the occasion shall remain a turning point in the nation's history that asserts the meanings of alliance to the nation and Egyptians' ability to protect their identity. First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi asserted that the June 30th revolution was and will remain a testimony on the awareness, unity, and steadfastness of the Egyptians in preserving their nation. Posting on social media on the anniversary of the 2013 revolution, Mrs. al-Sisi extended greetings and appreciation for the great Egyptian people, saying they showed how their free was the key behind success in preserving the national identity. On behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Monday participated at the launching Seville Action platform as part of the 4th United Nations Conference on Financing for Development that is held in Spain. At least 50 world leaders are gathering in the city of Seville from June 30th to July 3rd for the conference. Delivering Egypt's speech at the conference, the Prime Minister will said Egypt is working to achieve sustainable development goals in confronting with Egypt's Vision 2030. Madbouli asserted that effective international cooperation in the development aid is necessary for meeting SDGs. The conference is held as some donors led by the United States have slashed on plan to scale down aid budgets into conflict and rising trade tensions. On the sidelines of the United Nations Conference in Spain, the Prime Minister reiterated Egypt's commitment to the Palestinian cause till an independent sovereign Palestinian state is established. The remark was made by Dr. Madbouli, held a meeting with his Palestinian counterpart who is participating at the conference. Also on the sidelines of the United Nations Aid Conference in Spain, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met with the Executive Director of the AU's Development Agency, NEPAD. The Prime Minister said that Egypt is determined to utilize the remaining months of its presidency of the agency in support of African development plans. The Prime Minister said Cairo is interested in cooperating with several countries to offer needed financing to its development and will back the imminent launch of an excellence center for boosting adaptation and resilience to climate change. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Egyptian Expats Affairs, Badr Abdel Ati, voiced Egypt's full support to the role of the International Agency for Atomic Energy in the application of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Over a phone call he made with the IAEA's chief, Rafael Grossi, the top diplomat said Egypt attaches importance to maintaining the treaty's credibility as a main driver to nuclear non-proliferation system. The foreign minister asserted the importance of a resumption of negotiations over Iranian nuclear file as soon as possible, adding that this is the optimal way to build confidence and diffuse tensions. Over a phone call with Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi on Monday, the top diplomat asserted that supporting security and stability in the region through diplomacy and talks is imperative, asserting the need to cement a ceasefire agreement between Iran and Israel. Abdel Ati said efforts should be collectively exerted in order to ensure truce and avoid reigniting escalation so as to consolidate regional security and stability. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdel Ati stressed the importance of a resumption of a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and a release of hostages and prisoners as a result of reaching a sustainable ceasefire and implementing U.S. President Donald Trump's vision for a comprehensive peace in the Middle East. The remarks were made over a phone call with U.S. President's Special Envoy for the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, which came as part of Egyptian efforts to ensure de-escalation in the region. The top diplomat stressed the necessity to ensure a flow of humanitarian relief and medical aid into the Strip in order to address the acute deterioration in the humanitarian situation in the Strip. Minister Abdel Ati said Egypt looks forward to hosting the International Conference for Gaza Early Recovery and Reconstruction as soon as ceasefire agreement is reached. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdel Ati stressed Egypt's unwavering support to the Palestinian people and their legitimate rights. Over a phone call with his counterpart Varsan Agbaskian, the foreign minister reviewed Egyptian efforts to resume a ceasefire in Gaza in partnership with Qatar and U.S. and to allow humanitarian aid flow into the war-torn Strip. The top diplomat condemned the Israeli aggression in the occupied Palestinian territories and the Israeli collective punishment policies, which gave which are grave violation of the international law and the humanitarian international law. For her part, the Palestinian foreign minister hailed Egypt's fundamental support to the Palestinian cause and appreciation for President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's efforts to put an end to the suffering of the Palestinian people and to reach a just and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian issue. Welcome back. Egypt's bourse was mixed at dealings closed amid sell-offs by local corporations against purchases by Arab and foreign corporations and local Arab foreign investors. The market capital of listed companies lost 11 billion Egyptian pounds, crossing 2.3 trillion at the end of transactions. The benchmark index EGX 30 dipped 1.1% above the 32,857 points mark, and the equal weighted indices EGX 70 and EGX 100 rose 0.6% and 0.2% respectively. Oil prices today continued to struggle on concerns about plans for increased output from OPEC+, which contributed to the 12% slide last week. London's Brent crude declined 17 cents to $67.60 a barrel, while U.S. crude fell 26 cents to $65.26 per barrel. Welcome back. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola is concerned about the lack of the rest his side will get ahead of the new Premier League season and said their involvement in the Club World Cup would destroy them. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me, Abir Mitwali. Thanks for watching and please stay tuned.